For the past couple of days, we've been talking about reasons why you wouldn't want to pick up an S23 Ultra this year, but that focused mainly around the financials of upgrading from an S22 Ultra and some other devices where the trade-in value just wasn't there, but it had nothing to do with the tech of the S23 Ultra itself. Today I want to go over some reasons why you would buy and certain circumstances that people are in that would allow you to take advantage of the offers that are being made available to you. And the first one is the one that we mentioned the other day that I highlighted as a negative, but in certain situations it could absolutely be a positive, and that is the carrier deals. Because a lot of people in the comment section said, hey, I don't care. I stick with the same carrier for 20 years. I've had the same phone for 4 years now. I'm going to take advantage of it. And yes, that's true. If you're somebody that doesn't switch carriers, if you're already on the max plan or the available or eligible plan for the bill credits, go ahead. Trade in that phone that you have. Get the $1,000 off, or the $1,000 in bill credits, rather, because you know what you're getting into. You don't switch phones that often, and you're with the same carrier anyway. Absolutely makes sense for those people. And what's great about that is, if you're financing phones anyway, if you're somebody that was paying your $30-40 a month for your whatever you have now, that makes a lot of sense for you because you could trade in what you got if it's paid off, stay on the same plan that you already have, and you're essentially, cell phone bills being what they are, between the fees and all the max plans and whatever else they're charging you, as expensive as they are, essentially you're getting $40 off a month for the next 3 years. So for you, for that specific case, the carrier deal makes sense. And also, if you're somebody that finances phones, if you're coming up on where you've paid off your phone, or you're due for a new deal, or you're due for an AT&T Next or something, you pay the $6 a month for that, then that also might make sense for you because you're essentially saving that payment on your bill every month. You're getting that bill credit back, and you get to have the latest and greatest. If you're somebody, now let's get to some of the technical stuff. If you're somebody with an S9 or earlier, time to put it out of its... So you got that cracked S8, time to trade it in and just start over. Look, if it's financially feasible, I get it. If you're somebody who, you want to hold on to your old device, that's fine. I personally think it's done its bit for king and country. But also, you can see on this channel the videos that I have. If you're somebody that just loves to hold on to the old stuff to get every single electron out of it that you can, I'm absolutely in favor of that. I love using old technology as far as we could get it to go. There are some features like the headphone jack, like expandable storage, that aren't available in the newer devices, so you may want to hold on because of that. And of course, if you just can't afford it, there's plenty of devices that are great that you could have for $200 or $300 that have nothing to do with an S23 Ultra, and you'll get 90% of the functionality, and you'll absolutely love them. And those older devices still work fantastically and no problems whatsoever. So if it's a financial thing, make sure you do the responsible thing for you. On the note about the carriers, though, links will be in the description. You'll see them broken out a little bit differently. There'll be one for each carrier to make sure you can take advantage of the extra $50 you get by clicking my link. That $50 goes to the Samsung credit, so you have to use it on one of their overpriced cases or accessories, which is always great. That $50 case is worth about $15. But go ahead, use it. There'll be one for unlocked as well. It helps the channel, but also you get that extra $50, so why not? Now we get to the more difficult discussions tech-wise and upgrade-wise. And we'll start with the S10 Plus. The S10 Plus is a tough one to get rid of. Love the design. Really disappointed that they never refreshed that design. Gave it a second year, especially when what they came up with was the S20, which was the ugliest device in the past decade or so. Would have loved to have seen a refreshed version of the S10 Plus. Still works great. The 855 Snapdragon, a little bit long in the tooth. You might see a couple things slow down, but for the most part, daily tasks is going to breeze through it. 60 hertz display, but that's okay. The panel is phenomenal, but like all Samsung panels for the past however many years, you get the 2K display, really great, light form factor, decent enough camera. But I do think that the upgrade to the S23 Ultra, and even just basing that off of the upgrade to the S22 Ultra, would be pretty good. You're going to like the creature comforts that they add. You're going to like the refresh rate enhancement. You're going to like the battery life. Because don't forget, on your S10 Plus now, you're getting, 4.5 hours of screen on time? Maybe 5 if you baby it. All reports on the S23 Ultra, over 7 hours easily. Let's hope that holds. We'll test it here, and I'll have a full comparison between those two devices. So go ahead and tussle that subscribe button if you haven't already. So that's something that you might enjoy. Not having to worry about battery life. There are things with the S Pen I think you can learn to enjoy, even if you're someone who's just coming from the S line of devices from 100 years back and you've never used an S Pen before. I do think there are things that you might enjoy there. I think overall, you're out of support. I think overall it might be time to get the max value, selling it privately. Don't trade it in for that $100 or $170. That's insulting. I think it's time to maybe get max value for your S10 Plus, sell it privately, get yourself one of these deals, and go ahead and pick up an S23 Ultra and keep it for the same amount of time, and I think you're going to be happy with that. The other tough one for me is the Note 10 Plus, and this gets really difficult because you're talking about, well, the other one you're talking about giving up a headphone jack, right? The Note 10 Plus didn't have that, so that's something that you give up. But you're giving up that light form factor. The S22 and S23 are significantly heavier than the Note 10 Plus. It just feels like a thinner device. It's a nicer device. It still runs well, like the 855, same thing, same panel, all the rest of it. But between the support, the battery life, I think you'll enjoy the refresh rate. Especially, you're used to using a premium device. You're used to using the best of the best. Normally, refresh rate, I don't even talk about it, I don't care. But when you're somebody who says, you know what, I use the flagships, I love the flagships, get yourself the next version of that. I think you'll be happy. If you're a techie, I think you'll enjoy the enhancement that they've made there. You'll enjoy the millisecond response time on the S Pen now. It's blazing, like you're writing on the screen itself. I think there are some things there that you'll enjoy, and the battery life improvements as well. You're in the same boat with your Note 10 Plus, about 4.5, 5 hours of screen on time, maybe a little bit more than your S10 Plus, but still not what you'd get today. Now, that wasn't the case with the S22 Ultra. It was kind of a lateral move in terms of battery life, but the S23 Ultra, by all accounts, we're going to test it, has better battery life. So you can go ahead and reserve it, go ahead and pre-order. Worst case scenario, you return if you don't like it, and you could go ahead and take advantage of the extra credits and all the rest of it. So while I don't agree with the trade-in offers, I think they're garbage. I think they're insulting, especially a couple of them. The S22 Ultra, and people are, we went over this the other day. People say, well, they don't owe you anything, or Samsung's doing poor financially. Well, okay, how about this? How about you make the prices of your devices a little bit more competitive? How about we have a $1,100 phone that's the top spec phone, instead of the mid-range spec one be $1,349? Perhaps your phones would sell better. Perhaps don't have 9 million devices. Perhaps don't have an S23 Plus, which you should avoid at all costs. Friends don't let friends buy the S23 Plus at full price. You want to go to the S23 if you're coming from an S9? Understandable. I think you're going to like that form factor now. We've kind of gone back to these smaller form factors. I think that would be good for you. Nice display, all the rest at $799, not a bad price. But that S23 Plus, don't think you can make that move from an S10 Plus to an S23 Plus because you're going to be disappointed. You're not getting the best of the best like you were back in the day with the Plus, and it's a completely different animal than it was just a few years ago when you bought your S10 Plus and you were just getting the top flagship. It's not like that anymore. So if you're somebody, let me know what your unique situation is down below in the comments section. Perhaps I could help. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, be safe out there. A lot of pitfalls this year and traps this year. Have that Steve-licious day.